Welcome back, family and friends. Today we discuss why psychology matters. For starters, psychology is defined as the scientific study of the mind and behavior, according to the American Psychological Association. It is, in a nutshell, the only way we attempt to classify the most complex intelligent function and organ of the human body, the brain and its intricate thought process. There are around 86 billion neurons in the human brain, all of which are in use and provide an infinite number of possible calculations, thoughts, and emotional responses. The aim of the study, as you can imagine, is to describe, explain, predict, and ultimately improve human behavior. So the question of the day is, why is that important? Why do we even bother trying to understand the irrational or unexplainable? Well, the answer is simple, but very complicated. The short of it all is to be able to form a basis of general trust in society and interpersonal relationships. It is also to be able to establish what basic mental health should look like. But who are we kidding here? What is considered to be good mental health is and always will be a matter of opinion. At best, we have a theory for discussion. The dynamic could not be more ironic, as it's literally one mind using a set of sociological norms to determine another. Yet here we are, labeling each other based on our thoughts and deepest emotions. This is why I think it serves as a vital part in maintaining civility in society. Psychology opens the door to the conversation that only studies thought and behavior, but also influences thought and behavior. The most interesting to me is how we choose or don't choose to communicate, and the conversations that come from that. Ultimately, how we express our feelings and emotions. Social norms that determines what is accepted has been developed over centuries and are really governed by the laws that we accept as standards. This is tweaked and refined by individual family dynamics to include values, religion, customs, and financial perspectives. So this is why psychology matters. It is the one human social definition that is linked to everything. So Coach AB, why is talking about our thoughts, feelings so important to mental health? Well, to answer that question, we must have a basic definition of mental health, which of course psychology provides. 1. You are confident when faced with new situations or people, and you generally feel optimistic. 2. You don't always blame yourself for what occurs in your life. 3. You set goals. You make it a habit to always strive for something. 4. You feel good about yourself and your place in the world. And 5. You have a good self-esteem. Well, for me, of the most important, it is self-esteem. You see, everything starts there. As defined by Wikipedia, self-esteem is an individual's subjective evaluation of their own worth. Self-esteem encompasses beliefs about oneself as well as emotional states such as triumph, despair, pride, and shame. It is overall belief of you, who you are, what you stand for, and what you believe to be true. It is the ability to overcome rejection and loneliness while maintaining social skills that promotes, not end, relationships. It's comparing your existence to the world and accepting it for what it is, and still finding greatness in the humble idea that you are one soul in an endless sea of existence. So the conversation is very much important, and in my opinion, doesn't require more than a positive disposition and mental attitude. In intimate relationships, there is a huge importance in developing a strong self-esteem and encouraging your partner to do the same. Self-esteem not only promotes trust, but it is the foundation for establishing couple goals. Because how can you begin to trust someone else when you don't trust yourself? It is my belief that strong self-esteem awareness amongst couples gives a healthy psychology and has no choice but to cultivate and eventually become the essential foundation for coping with life's depressing moments. We also can't forget that ultimately the mind is bound by its physical ability as much as emotional and cognitive capability. In what is now considered a socially awkward world, with the advent of social media, cognitive dissonance is perplexed with mental insecurities and illness. In other words, what a mentally challenged individual did naturally in person, with typically one person at a time, is now even more complicated to try to do constantly in a group setting. Heck, it's a challenge even for those who are not mentally challenged. This is why personality types are so telegraphic on social media. Those that typically are uncomfortable speaking in a group won't have much to say online either. Even for the seasoned extrovert, social media can be challenging, as you are actually speaking in a larger-than-life group setting at all times. I still grapple with the fact that people will eventually be moved by a comment, negatively or positively, long after that person has died. Something that was only reserved for the famous now becomes part of everyone's legacy unintentionally. Hence the social awkwardness. Now, presented by social media and the internet on a whole. Now, of course, these are extreme examples and people fall into categories in between. But the general problem facing everyone today is that it is all theoretical and truly one big experiment on the human psyche. There can be extensive discussion on this subject that must and will be constantly evolving. Like life itself, it is not the destination that is important, but the journey. As long as we continue to talk, continue to try and understand each other, there will always be hope. I'll let you in on a little secret. We are all psychologists to some degree. As a friend, a lover, a parent, or relative, we are the source of the emotion that sparks the thought and propels intuition. How we express ourselves to others ultimately determines how others express themselves to us. It really isn't what happens to us that matters. It is what we do about what happens to us. How we respond that ultimately shapes our world. It is the single most important constant to self-control I know. Like the saying goes, it is 99% attitude. Well, Coach AB, I don't have a good attitude about nothing. I don't think I ever can. Well, to that I simply say, you are what you believe. No force on planet Earth can change what you believe other than yourself. Change can only truly occur mentally if you do a hard reboot of your beliefs. As always, family and friends, I pray this message brings some clarity. It is and always will be something we deliberate on as it continues to be one of changing perspectives. Stay tuned for my next episode in the series as I talk about the wider dynamics in human behavior as it refers to sociology. Until then, family and friends, may your days be spiritually enlightened and filled with good health and prosperity. God bless.